What's up? This is Behind the Scoot, episode 3. My goal for these kind of vlogs is to pump one out every week, every Monday through Sunday. Maybe one day I'll get like a consistency throughout the week, but not right now. First the coffee, then the things. And actually, I came a little bit prepared today. It has been 31 full days. I'm on day number 32, completely free. I got a lot to talk about today, so I kind of want to just like dive right in. Number one, I want to go over kind of just briefly what I said to myself on that last day, those 31 full days ago, because it was not, this is going to be the last time I ever look. Forever, I told myself that. 15 years. The majority of the times that I fell, I followed that up with, that was the last time, I'm done. What was different about my actual last time with right now where I'm sitting, afterwards I said, this is not for me. I completely had rewired to my core what I need in my life, and pornography and masturbation were not in that mix. And I really believed it. It wasn't just some conscious thing. I'm gonna go into conscious versus unconscious in a little bit. But before that, last week, drinking. Still doing good. Still got my coffee going. Last week I had a really good friend, had a birthday party, lots of drinking, lots of shots, and I managed to keep it at 1. It was hard. I need to learn how to have be at a party and not be off in the corner alone because I'm not drinking. Be able to still really engage with everyone. That's something I'll learn. I'm not too terribly worried about it. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't know what I'm gonna do right now though, because they love playing all the drinking games, like Slap Cup and several variations of beer pong, and several mixtures of Slap Cup and beer pong. And I'll get there. I'm not worried about it. I just know what I need in my life and what I don't. And after a long time, I'm really comfortable with where I am. Happier than I've ever been. So this next thing is kind of blowing me away. Forever, people ask oh, did you read this book? Did you check this out? And I'm like, no, I don't read books. I really hate reading books. And I thought that until I didn't. I'm on my second book of the year. Yes, it's mid-late February, but I've never done that. I picked up my first book, This Naked Mind, which I talked about in the last vlog, mid-January, and finished that in a week and a half. Whole. I'm on this next book, Daring Greatly by Brene Brown. It's mind-blowing. Where have books been all my life? I like them. I like books. Daring Greatly has given me a ton of amazing insight into vulnerability and shame. And I'm actually adding a lot to the K-State talk, March 11th. By chance, if any one of you are watching this and want to go to that, March 11th at St. Isidore's Catholic Student Center at 7:30 p.m. And I'm going to talk a lot about love, and a lot about porn, and a lot about Catholicism, and a lot about how those three interact with each other. One big thing I want to address is porn in a relationship. What that does to the guy and to the girl. What the guy does to the girl and what the girl does to the guy. It's deeper than I ever thought. I've had several relationships throughout college, and therefore, yes, I've brought porn into a relationship. Whether I like to admit it or not, it's been there while I've been dating someone else. That sucks. It's a hard thing to tackle, to admit, to talk about. It digs the shame spike deeper into my heart. When I was still in the addiction. So what did that result in? More porn and masturbation. Easy as that. I added that little note before I was over my addiction because one really big thing changed for me. And this is actually a perfect segue because I want to kind of go into why Finding My Flame is going to be in two parts. The first being how to overcome your physical addiction to a spiritual sin. And the second part is all about the prayer, how to have a personal relationship with God, what that looks like. It's really hard to say yes to God when you're physically addicted to the no. I spent 15 years asking God for the strength, praying. That's about it. That's all the effort I really put forth is more prayer and more prayer. So I think for any addict, especially if you've been struggling for a while and only praying, it's going to be refreshing to look at that part one and learn who you are to your core. Prayer is not going to be a specific aspect of that because the entirety of part two is how to have a personal relationship. Once you kind of break down the walls around your heart through God's grace, through this knowledge, you can open up this whole new world of relationship with God, and it's beautiful. So I want to get a little bit into part one, like what it is. It's all about learning about yourself. Everyone has a conscious mind and an unconscious mind. Your conscious mind is what you cognitively think, what's happening. It's your thoughts, what you want to happen, what you don't want to happen. Your unconscious mind is stronger than your conscious mind. Your unconscious mind drives your behaviors more than anything, and it's built upon your experiences, your assumptions, your observations in life. With pornography specifically, like it was a couple years before I learned that looking at porn was immoral. This is back when I was like 8, 9, 10 years old. My conscious mind in high school and college and a little bit after college was, I do not want to look at porn. I know porn is immoral. I want to stop. My unconscious mind, my core desires said, do not stop. I like this thing. That drove my behavior. And if you're thinking to yourself, that's stupid, there's no way. I challenge you to kind of get into a little bit new way of thinking. 15 years, dude. Consciously telling myself, don't do this. There's more to the story. So in this book, in this part one, you discover your unconscious mind. And the best way to bring things out of that unconsciousness to consciousness is to shine a light on them, to think about them. That is when you can really destroy these kind of built up desires you have with pornography. One of them, I actually spent a lot of time just very recently, this past week especially, going over these liminal points. These are the actual like individual thoughts that you unconsciously just develop over life that drive your addiction. This is a lot of the success of This Naked Mind with alcoholism is like alcohol's fun to drink. Is it really? She dives into your perception of alcohol, your assumptions on alcohol, your faux reality of what alcohol is, and then brings you to an actual reality of what alcohol is. Alcohol is a poison. You build up tolerance to it. What other liquid can you name that people drink until they puke? More than once. And so we're going to make this porn version of this book, basically. And I'm so excited. Like, I don't know many people that I love that have overcome an addiction because they're just praying. They're not doing anything practically. They say, God's grace will come, it will save me. I'm a believer in that. I talked to a man who fully that happened. Through prayer and time, he overcame his addiction. The specific man, it took 40 years. He had grandchildren, and we talked, and he said, I finally overcame my addiction through prayer. So this whole part one doesn't really have prayer in it. It's more learning about who you are. And then part two dips into like the purest form of prayer. It's a new way of thinking. It's refreshing. I'm really excited to keep writing it. I know this road is just gonna take me in directions that I've never been before. I was in a group chat just recently, and they were like, Eric, this road you're on is amazing. Like, I'm so proud of you. And I love that. I love hearing that. But what people need to understand is like, the road I was on sucked for a long time. Like, I'm 24 and I had an addiction that lasted over a decade. I've been looking for this road that I'm on now for the past 31 days for over a decade. So I love hearing that it's beautiful. It's given by God. I fully believe that. It's just, you need to step back and kind of see the whole picture. Sure, there's a lot of beauty now. It sucked for a long, long time. I'm going to hop off all these tangents I keep going on for this week. So I'll see you next week. Actually, next week, I need to write this down so I remember it. I want to talk about love. One of the biggest things I want the parenting dare and finding my flame to be is a brand of love. That when you hear it, the first thing you think is, wow, that like reframes my idea of what love is. And then you think, oh yeah, those are the porn things. I know that's really hard to do because porn's such a loud topic. It's peeking in my heart. Thank you. I'll see you next week.